Okay, so welcome to the virtual orientation. This is hopefully going to be pretty brief, short to the point, but I just like to do these every semester so that students are able to, see what the course expectations are. A lot of the time students forget to read the syllabus, and so this kind of gives us an opportunity to go over the syllabus policies without it having to be all in black and white and a 8-page thing that you've got to go through. So that's what we're going to do today. And then also the reason that we do it live is just so if anybody has any questions at the end, they have the time and space to do that. And so we're not having to track each other down by email. So if you do have any questions that pop up, just hold them until the end. Or if you'd like, you can put them in like the chat box that's down there and I will get to them when I see them. If it's something that's like something I just went over or something and you don't want to forget about it, you can just put it there and then I can come back to it when I see it or when I get a break from talking. So I'm going to share my screen and it's just going to be on our Blackboard page. And I will do it in student view so that you guys see, or so that I see what y'all see. 1 second to switch over to that. Okay. And then I'm gonna keep myself here. Maybe I can pin myself. There we go. Okay. So this is what you should be seeing on your Blackboard page right now. And also, I'm Sarah Schubert. I'm your instructor for this semester. Online, obviously, we're an online only class. Other than today, where we're having sort of a live thing, this is the only time that we'll have to do anything in real time. Everything else will be pre-recorded, and you can do it at your leisure throughout the week. So this is what you should be seeing right now. And actually, I'm in the wrong class right now. This is not y'all, but yeah, it is. That is y'all. Just kidding. I'm doubting myself. So this is what you guys should be seeing right now. The only thing that I've got here so far is an announcement about the icebreaker, where there was an old prompt that was on the icebreaker assignment. And so if you haven't looked at that announcement already, just take a second to look at that or check your email when we're done. But just clarifying the icebreaker thing, and you can read about that in the email. The announcements, they'll be posted here. Usually weekly, I will submit like a weekly check-in video. Sometimes I don't always have time to do the video, but I will at least post like weekly announcements to let you know what the due dates are, any reminders of things coming up, that sort of thing. But usually I try to do a video every week unless something's going on or it's just really, really busy week. Our check-in videos will be right here. And you are welcome to watch those. You don't have to watch those. I think that they're helpful just to get clarification on things, but they're not required. But they will be posted here weekly, as well as emailed to you from at your Gaston College email. So otherwise on this sidebar here, we've got our syllabus, which that's like the formal, you can read through that if you'd like to, but I think as long as you're joining this video or you're watching it in real time or in like the recorded version of it, that you should be good as far as syllabus policies go. Our course entry quiz, very, very important that you take that as soon as possible. I sent out emails today and I'll be sending them every single day until everybody completes the course entry quiz. Because that is what we use for our like auditing for the courses. So at the end of the census date, we submit those. And if you have not submitted the course entry quiz, you're withdrawn from the class. So please make sure if I sent you an email that you checked that and you get that course entry quiz turned in just as soon as possible. It's just like a 3-question thing. It's super, super easy, but we just need it for the documentation. Course info, this is going to be a really helpful little place for you. All of our important like school closures, things like that, any like important just college dates, like our last day to drop classes, last day to withdrawal, those sorts of things will be listed right here. Our methods of evaluation are posted here, as well as some other places as well, but here's one of the places. And this is our week by week schedule. So if you're ever confused about what's due one week, you can just refer to this. And you can see what all we have due, as well as multiple other places, but this is just sort of like our master copy of what is due every single week. And then a couple other policies are down here. This isn't really a policy, but this is our extra credit opportunities, and that is posted throughout the whole semester. I've got a wrong date there, but it's due, all of our extra credit opportunities that I'll get to in a second are due before the last week of classes. And so if you ever want to do them throughout the semester, the instructions are here for you. This is our email policy, and I'm not going to harp too much on this right now, but this is just one of the locations that you can find our email policy at. But I will explain that more, as well as some other policies in our syllabus. But here's just some places that you can find them, and just some important kind of places to click around if you're ever, confused or not certain what, when things are due, or how to do things. So now I'm going to go to our Start Here module. This is what we are doing for this week. You don't even need to get into the modules folder this week, like this one here. Just the Start Here is the only thing you need to do for this week. This is just kind of an overview of what we're doing today, as well as just an introduction to the course if you did not watch the video. And this is our icebreaker discussion. Some of you have already submitted that, which is great. But this is what we have due for this week, and the instructions there. And it is a discussion, so make sure that you do respond to your classmates, and just follow the instructions that I've laid out for you there. But really what this orientation is about is going through our syllabus. And I have a little PowerPoint here. It's just Welcome to Art Appreciation. So if you ever want to look back on this, that's where it's located at. But I've got it pulled up right here. So this is what we are going to go through together. And again, if you do have questions, please just let me know in the chat box there, and I will try to stop or try to catch it as soon as I can, and just make sure that we have clarity on everything, because that's what this is all about. So again, my name is Sarah Shuford, and I'm your instructor for this semester. I have my MFA, which is like Masters of Fine Arts, and that's what essentially qualifies me to teach this class. There's my email located right here, and my office location. I usually never have online students come to my office, but if you do ever want to come, I'm on the main Dallas campus, and CVA is like the arts building. And I'm just right there in the center if you walk in. So if you ever do need to talk with me in person, that's where you'll find me at. My office hours for online, they vary. So if you need to make an appointment with me, I'm happy to set that up with you and make it work with your schedule. But it is by appointment only. I don't really have like standing office hours for the online classes. So if you do need me, I'm happy to make that work through a Zoom call or in person, but it is by appointment only. So a couple things about this class that are really specific to our class is one, beginning, it is an OER content class, and you may have saw that on the syllabus already and may not know what OER is. But OER is essentially open educational resources, meaning that we do not have a textbook for this course. So that's great for you. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to have a textbook. But it does mean that this class is a little bit unconventional, and that does take some getting used to sometimes. So it's important that you are watching our Edpuzzle lecture videos, which I'll get into in just a little bit. That is the main material for our course as far as lecture material and reading material goes. Other things that will supplement for our OER course are PowerPoints, videos, articles, different types of assignments, interactive assignments, and all types of things. But we do not require a textbook reading. So that is a big plus for sure. Our attendance policy, if you have not taken an online class before, I know that this class is a pretty healthy mix of both full-time college students as well as dual enrollment students with the high schools. So this might be your first online class, first time doing this, or this could be your 20th one. I'm not really sure. So I just want to cover this as if you have not had an online class. So our online attendance policy essentially means that you cannot go inactive for 21 plus days in this class. So if you, for example, for some reason you missed 3 weeks of classes in a row, that is the most that you can miss, and without getting unenrolled from the class. With that said, that's the college policy. My personal policy comes, well, we'll skip back to that one in a second. My personal policy with attendance, I am fine with you, submitting your work however you want to. I have one due date in the week, and it's Sundays at 11:59, and I'll say that a bunch throughout this PowerPoint. So you have all week to complete your work as long as it is done by 11:59 on Sundays. However, with that said, I have a lot of students, and so it becomes very, very hard for me to make exceptions for submitting late work, keeping track of late work, reopening assignments, all of that. So I do give you a generous amount of time for assignments, but I do not accept late work for this course. So make a note of that. If you do not get your work turned in by Sunday at 11:59, and it's 12:30 on Monday, I can't accept your work unless you have a doctor's note or a note from your principal, a phone call from your mom or dad. That is not going to suffice. It needs to be a note coming from some sort of higher up, or a doctor's note is preferable. But if something does happen like that, I'm happy to work with you. But as far as like things like you're missing your charging cable, you don't have internet access for some reason, you don't know where to turn an assignment in, etc. That is not going to be grounds for having late work submitted. Now, this is kind of back and forth. It's a little wishy-washy. Most of the time, and the reason that I have this in here, all of the following issues arise at about 11 o'clock on Sunday night. And that definitely affects my choices and my flexibility with letting you submit late work. If you're emailing me at 11 o'clock and saying that you don't have internet access or you don't have a charging cable, I've given you the entire week to figure that out. And if you're waiting until that last minute to submit assignments, that unfortunately is a risk that you've kind of taken. Now, with that said, if you for some reason have something go on earlier in the week and we can address it sooner, we can make exceptions for that and we can probably figure it out, somehow, some way. But being in an online course, whether you are in high school or if you are, a full-time, just regular college student, you are required, and this is in our syllabus and in our college policies, you're required to have reliable internet access, access to Blackboard, and access to your email. We do have open computer labs and library access on campus almost like, around the clock. And so if you ever do have a situation where you are out of internet or, you don't have a computer, that sort of thing, you can always go to the libraries or on campus and there are resources there for you. But again, being an online class, a totally online class, it is your responsibility and your requirement really to have, full-time internet access, full-time Blackboard access, full-time email access. So, any of the following excuses, plus one that I also hear a lot is that I was locked out of my Blackboard account for 3 weeks, and so I couldn't submit any work. If it's going on 3 weeks that you were locked outside of your locked out of your Blackboard account, you needed to have contacted someone before then. It could be your high school counselor, it could be tech support, me personally, but you can't go an extended period of time without having access to Blackboard. You need to make somebody aware of that and try to get that resolved as soon as possible. And I know I kind of harped on this for a second, but the late work thing is definitely something that I've had to rein in and get pretty tight about the last couple of years because it does get out of hand really, really quickly. So just want to set those expectations at the beginning. I skipped over one thing back here, the withdrawal process. If you do need to withdraw from this course, and there's no shame if you do have to do that, if your grade just gets too low and you don't feel like you can pull it up, or if you are just like really overwhelmed with your course load, whatever the case may be, your last day to do so is on November 7th. That is the last day that you can withdraw from the class. Otherwise, you're just going to have to remain in the class and receive the grade that you receive. You can retake the class if you have enough attempts to retake it, but you have to stick it out for the class. You cannot withdraw from the class, and that doesn't include receiving your money back. There is a date for that as well, where you can receive like partial payment back, and I'll show you what that is in a second. But that's the last day that you can withdraw. And then additionally, that 21 days of consecutive absence, if that happens as well, you will be automatically withdrawn and you'll receive a WI on your transcript. So that is like an instructor withdrawal essentially. And I'll have to do that right at the 21-day mark. But we'll try to contact you and, do everything we can to get in touch with you before that has to happen. Okay. There we go. Another policy that we've got is our email policy. And again, this one is pretty specific to me, but like I said, I have a lot of students, like upwards of like 200 students this semester. And so this makes things a lot easier for me, and it makes it much more easy for me to respond to you in a much more accurate way, a much more time efficient way. So your first things first, you've got to use your Gaston College email address when you're communicating with me or anybody at Gaston College. I know this is, probably like if you are a just regular college student, this, but if you are a high school student, a lot of the times it gets confusing and you think that you can use your high school email address, but that is not the case. That is, our policy throughout. We cannot respond to personal email addresses, and that is just for privacy issues. We cannot communicate with parents. We can communicate with principals, but that is like the most that we can communicate with outside of you specifically, because you are the one that is signed up for the college level class. I will never send anything to your personal email address because that is a violation of your privacy as well. So please make sure that you are using that gaston.edu email address for all communication with me and any other instructor or person at Gaston College that you have to contact. Second thing, and this is specific to me, so your class is Art 111, and please ignore this because I needed to edit this out. I'm a little bit behind. Your class is Art 111, and it is P6C is what that should say. That is your section number for this course. And to kind of like put it into reality for you, I have 7 Art 111 courses, and they each have 3 digits and numbers after them, which is that section number. So when you email me and you're saying, hey, it's Kayla from Art 111, I have to check through 6 or 7 different rosters for me to find who you are, what your situation is, find you in the grade book, whatever it is the question is. So regardless of what the question is, always, always, always put your section number somewhere in the email. You can say, my name is blank from your art appreciation class, or Art 111 P6C class, but don't just say, I'm from your art appreciation class or I'm from your Art 111 class. That causes me to have to look through all of these different rosters, and I can't give you a quick response time that way. I know it seems like a little tiny silly thing, but it does help me immensely when responding to emails. There's also a little policy in our course info about email netiquette, and I would highly recommend, if you are not used to sending emails, to review that, just so that you can, be sure that you're using proper grammar, spelling, punctuation, addressing properly who you are writing to. And this is, to help me again to more quickly and more efficiently give you a response back, but also to prepare you for having to email, if you're in high school or if you're, looking for jobs. This kind of prepares you for sending those kinds of emails that are professional and they're not, like text language. We don't want text language. We want it to be, formal or formal-ish. And then lastly, I do not use Blackboard Messenger, and I'm going to take a second to show you what that is real quick. I can get out of this. Okay. So, and I actually have it turned off on our class specifically, but over here, on your main page where like all your classes are listed, you've got this little messages thing. I do not use that. I don't check it. And that mostly just because it becomes more confusing if I have to check these messages and you're emailing me. And so I've totally cut that off from my classes. And I will not look or respond to those. So if you are trying to get a hold of me and you're only using this and I'm not responding to you, that is fine. So make sure that you are using your email and not Blackboard Messenger when communicating with me. And that was it for the email policy. And please remember, it's P6C, and you can see it right there. So it's on your course and it's at the top of your course once you click into it. So Art 111 P6C, that's where the number comes from. All right. And let me get to adaptive release. Like I said, our assignments, they open at 12 a.m. on Mondays, and they remain open until 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. After that, the assignments from the week before will disappear and the new assignments will be released. So make sure that you're watching those deadlines. Just a couple resources that we have that are really useful. We have a writing center at Gaston College. So if you are ever doing a writing assignment for our class, which we do have a few of those, here's a form where you can actually just send your writing to, and they'll help you, respond to you, help edit things. Super, super useful. And this should be there as well. Maybe it didn't upload though. I'll send a reminder about this other resource that we have. It's for accessibility and disability services. I will send you an email right after we end this meeting about that. That should have been on this page as well though. So sorry about that, but I will send you the details on that shortly. Okay, methods of evaluation. This is just how we are graded in our course and what type of assignments we have. I want to take a second to remind you, if you have not had a class that uses weighted grading and everything is just worth the same percentage, I do use weighted grading in this class, and it can be kind of frustrating or confusing when you see, like in participation, for example, it's 15% of our grade, and there are probably 40 or 50 like little ed puzzle videos and things that fall into this category. And so, for example, if you complete all of those, you'll have lots of hundreds in the grade book. However, if projects, for example, we only have 2 projects. So if you miss one of those projects, which is a much more challenging, much more time-consuming assignment than the participation videos, that's the equivalent of not having a bunch of zeros for participation, if that makes sense. I've had this pop up in the past, and so I just want to clarify for anybody confused on that weighted grading does make it so that some assignments have much heavier value than others do. So our first category is participation, and it is worth 15% of our total grade. Participation is ed puzzle videos that will be in each of the 8 modules. Make sure to watch each video all the way through and click submit at the end. There are about 45 to 55 ed puzzles, so please be aware that each of these grades will be weighted very little. So it's like, a 50th of a 15% of your total grade. It's very, very small. But do make sure you're doing those, because otherwise you do not have your lecture material or class material that you need to do your other assignments with. Assignments and discussions, these are pretty straightforward. Assignments, it requires you to address a prompt, address each of the respected tasks. You will need to submit both writing and images in one document, preferably a Word document, and upload to the assignment. Discussions are very similar. However, you are creating a thread and then responding to other classmates, i.e. the discussion. Quizzes are worth 15%. Each module has a quiz with 10 questions, and quizzes will consist of multiple choice, fill in the blank, and true or false style questions. So we have one for each of the modules, each of the 8 modules. Our projects, we've got a midterm project and a final project. Our midterm project is an art analysis, and it's worth 15%, which again is like the equivalent of the entire participation category. And our final project is worth 15% as well. And it is to make a virtual museum, essentially. And you don't really need to know a lot about that right now, but that's what we do for that. And these are all in a projects folder, which you can look at any time, but I do not want you to work ahead on these. It needs to be paced out with like the material that we're covering. But you can look at the instructions anytime if you want to. And then lastly, we have our final exam of a part A and a part B of a multiple choice, fill in the blank, or true or false style question. And part A is something that the curriculum designs. So every single art appreciation class takes the same one. We'll have a study guide for this that's pretty extensive, so I don't want you to worry too much about it. And then part B is actually just reused quiz questions. So if you want to make yourself a little study guide along the way, when you're reviewing your quizzes, that would probably be very helpful for you. So that you can have that whenever you actually go to take the final exam. But all of part B is just reused information to make sure that we hit, again, if we've missed those. Some extra credit opportunities. Students will have 3 opportunities to receive extra credit throughout the semester by attending an art-focused gallery or museum and writing a brief summary of their experience. Now, this is pretty generous extra credit, I will be honest. Each extra credit opportunity is worth 2 points of extra credit that will be added to the final grade. If a student completes all 3 extra credit opportunities, they will receive 6 points extra credit. So for example, if a student's grade is an 84 and they complete all 3 opportunities, their grade will be raised to a 90. So that's, could definitely take you from one grade level to another. One grade to another. So B to A. So the instructions are to attend an approved gallery, and most every gallery I will approve. The Roush Gallery on campus is the one that I'll share opportunities from the most. But basically, I just don't want you to go to like a natural history museum that is not like art based. So that's why I want you, if you're going somewhere different, then that's something I've got listed. Just to send a quick email and make sure that it's okay with me first, because I have had people do natural history museums and try to do the assignment on it, and it doesn't really fit what our class is if it's just like artifacts or like natural history stuff. So I want you, once you've gone to the gallery, you need to take a selfie inside of the gallery. Selfie inside the gallery and a photo of one or more of the artworks, and then write a brief 2-paragraph summary. Paragraph 1 is just a summary of the exhibit, and then paragraph 2 is your opinion of the work. And then these instructions are also on the course information, so you can look at it there. Email a PDF of your work with photos and writing via your Gaston College email address and sending it to my email address. I have a column in the grade book that just says like extra credit museum visits or something. And so if you submit one of those, you should see 2 points in that column, and then that'll bump your grade up from like automatically from whatever it is to 2 points more. Running out of time here, sorry, but we're almost done. All right. And lastly, just congrats if you were not already a Gaston College student. You are now a Gaston College student. That comes with a lot of privileges and perks such as gym access, library access, student discounts, and more. However, it also comes with the expectations of the college students or of college students of this class to be professional, mature, and respectful at all times. So even if you are in high school, I'm treating you like you are a college adult. I want to communicate with you, not your parents. I want to make sure that you are taking the class seriously, and that you don't, you're not being unprofessional, immature, or not respectful at any time. So that sums up our PowerPoint there. I know I kind of blew through that pretty quickly, but we never have enough time on these really to fully get into it. But I think that pretty much covers everything that we've got. I will do a welcome video, or not welcome, a weekly check-in video with you next week. So Monday will be the first one that we have, and then you can kind of expect those throughout the next, several weeks, however long we're in the class. All that is due this week, though, is that you need to complete the course entry quiz and you need to complete the icebreaker discussion. And then other than that, just, get familiar with the course, make sure you've got all your supplies and everything. You've got your stable internet connection, you've got access to Blackboard, all of those things. Are there any questions for those of us that are actually here? I know we don't have a ton of people here, but if there are any questions that I didn't hit, I would be happy to answer those in the next few minutes. Okay, great. Anyone else, Amy or Ava, do y'all have any questions before we get off? Great. Ava, you good? Any questions? Okay. All right, I'm gonna assume that's a no. So thank you guys for joining me live. If you are watching the recording, best of luck with the rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you soon.